Hello, hockey fans. Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow, and we've got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot on my mind, but we've got to get focused here and stay on hockey. UMD Bulldogs, my goodness. They went out to Allentown, Pennsylvania.
The Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest Regional to play other Midwestern teams, while Bowling Green and Quinnipiac, which is in Connecticut, so
right.
But whatever. And by golly, they got things done, Jer.
Yeah, on Saturday, I didn't think they had a chance the way they were playing. The team wasn't in sync that
Bowling
day.
Green game?
Yes, they were not in sync.
Well, they waited till the end to get
the first two
going.
lines were way out of sync, and number 5 and 7, they had problems.
You know, that's what I don't like about these matchups. And this goes out, but in hockey, if UMD plays Denver, teams are familiar with, there seems to be a little different attitude, a little different ease at what they're doing. And so I hope the Bulldogs face Denver in the national championship, but we'll get to that. Bowling Green tied at 1, going to overtime. And for those of us old enough to remember 1984.
Ooh, you're going back to the big one.
The UMD Bulldogs and the Bowling Green, what are they, the Falcons?
Yes, they are.
Went to 4 overtimes in the championship game at Lake Placid, and UMD came up on the short end and lost. And I thought, there's no way this team's going to lose to Bowling Green again in overtime. And they didn't. They won 2-1.
You should have went to Vegas and put your money on it.
Well, I wasn't thinking that far ahead, I guess. But and then the following night, that was Saturday night. And then Sunday night, they had to take on Quinnipiac, a good, young Quinnipiac team. And they prevailed 3-1.
Well, I thought Sunday the Bulldogs were on their game in every way. I thought the defense were doing good. I thought the forwards I just thought that was their best game.
The one thing that I'd like to see the Bulldogs improve on certainly is their power play, because they're scoreless in the last 20-plus power play chances.
Well, I'm going to say one thing about that. You're facing these goalies nowadays are so big, and some of them are so good. I mean, in the Frozen Four now, the 4 teams going to Buffalo, the 4 goalies are in the top 10 in college hockey goalie stats.
There you go.
So right there. And I'll tell you, I was out in the West region in Fargo, and Denver won their first game against Ohio State with only 12 shots.
Yeah.
They won the game.
Yeah.
Okay. That night, American International Yellow Jackets.
Is that their name?
Yes.
Yellow Jackets?
Yes.
That was the reason for those uniforms.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
They put 13 shots on goal and won.
To St. Cloud.
Yep. That's amazing to me.
It is.
2 teams, 25 shots total, and they both win their games.
Well, that win of American International over St. Cloud was a stunner that will be talked about for a long time.
It was like many years ago, Minnesota Gophers were up in the regionals up in Ingolstadt Arena and Grand Forks, and they were playing Holy Cross.
Who?
And 1-16.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
1-16.
Yeah.
And somehow they were just so out of sync that us Gopher fans were looking, what the heck's going on
and
here?
They lost.
Yes. Continued through the whole game. And the next, I don't know how these teams can do this so fast, but the North Dakota fans made a shirt, said Holy Cross, holy shit. Yes, I said it.
Oh. I think you're supposed to spell
And they had 11,000 shirts.
Does that get past the ratings, folks?
Not radio, but TV, yes.
Oh, okay.
You can say that now.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Okay, well, he said it, I didn't. And hopefully PACT-TV.
That's what the shirt said. I'm just reading the shirt.
Yeah, the threat with that is the company that broadcast it can lose their license. So we'll have to see if that's FCC approved, but we'll take care of that part. Okay. What else from this weekend? UMD are going to the Frozen Four?
Right. Like I say, this is going to be their 3rd Frozen Four in a row.
Yeah.
They're in Chicago, and they played Denver in the championship game, and You know, it was a good game, but they didn't come out ahead. But then they learned a lot, and they came back next year, and right in our hometown, St. Paul.
Yes.
And we do good when Minnesota teams do good when it's in St. Paul, because the Gophers have won, and we've won twice now in St. Paul.
So now we get to wait till April 11th, Thursday, April 11th, when the Bulldogs will take on Providence. And then, of course, UMass will play Denver, and the winners of those respective games will go on to the championship Saturday the 13th in Buffalo.
Right. Buffalo, New York. And the last time it was in Buffalo, it was 2003, and I was there. And New Hampshire was playing the Gophers for the championship game, and the Gophers won. So maybe that's a good thing. The Minnesota team might win there, too. Again.
Bruce Siskey told me today that the Bulldogs will have the Buffalo Sabres dressing room.
Because they're the number one seed. They're home.
UMD awaiting the Frozen Four. Their record as of now, 27-11-2. They have a 700% winning percentage. They're 5-1-0 at neutral sites this season. And they have a 6-game winning streak going on. They need to make that an 8-game winning streak, and I hope they can do this again.
Just weird, because last year UMD wasn't playing good. They went to that frozen face-off, their conference tournament, and they did not too good there. But then all of a sudden, all you have to do is win 4, and they did it.
Yeah.
And this year, they're playing a lot better through the tournaments and their playoffs and that.
Yeah.
And, hey, and they're not... Their defense, I mean, they're stingy. They don't give too much space, because the 2 games, they beat Bowling Green 2-1 in overtime. With the empty netter, they won 3-1 last night. And so, hey, low scoring. Well, look at UMass shut out Harvard 4-0 and Notre Dame 4-0. Denver won against Ohio State 2-0 and American International College 3-0. So these goaltenders aren't giving up anything.
That's a good matchup there.
It's going to be a low. If it keeps going, it's going to be a low scoring.
You know, I want to see just a personal preference, a selfish preference, if you will. I'd like to see Denver win, and of course the Bulldogs, and have an all-NCHC championship.
Okay, Thursday.
And it just changes the dynamics when you have 2 teams that are somewhat familiar with one another. There just seems to be a better flow, if you will, and maybe some higher scoring. I don't know, but yeah.
It's kind of funny you said that. If that happens, that would make it 4 years in a row an NCHC team wins the national championship.
Sure.
North Dakota won in 2016. Denver won in 2017, and Minnesota Duluth won in 2018. So that, hey, it's a strong. I mean, I've seen other teams. I don't see as many back east, but they come and visit some of the teams here.
Yeah.
For non-conference games, you know. And I say this NCHC from top to bottom is the strongest league in all of college hockey. And I think it's going to continue.
What's up with Perinovich? What was his injury?
They're not saying.
Well.
But you can tell on the ice the way he's playing. He's not himself. He can't shoot the puck. You can tell that on the power play. Mm-hmm. He had many opportunities to shoot. He's not so... I think it's an upper body, arm, shoulder, something like that.
Okay.
Back. Who knows? But there's some problem there.
Boy, I'll tell you, this defensive core that the Bulldogs have, hopefully it'll stay together. There's no seniors.
Right. Well, remember when they won the national championship last year, 4 of them were freshmen. You know.
Yeah.
Can't beat that. And that's nice that they returned, too. Because nowadays, the pros, when someone's playing good, they try to get them signed, you know.
If the Bulldogs can keep this defensive group together, which I don't think they will,
right.
I think Perinovich will leave.
Right.
But regardless, if they can keep this together, they could be at the Frozen Four next season.
Yep, in Detroit.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you got Sandberg playing real good. Mikey Anderson, I think, is playing the best of all of them right now, the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
And
so you'll be in Buffalo?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So we'll take a week off because I got to travel out there, and then we'll give you all the results and the talk. And hey, you're starting a new radio show. Maybe I can call in if it's a possibility, but we'll see on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'll be out in Buffalo next week. I'll travel through Ohio and see some family, and it's not far from Cleveland. It's only about 3 hours from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Buffalo, so it'll be fun.
Is Cleveland where the family is?
No, I'm right pretty close, Sandusky area. And I got family in every state.
Yeah.
So I got a free meal in every state.
Well, we won't talk about those reasons, but again, UMD really has things going in the right direction here. A 6-game win streak, and they are going to play in the Frozen Four. They'll play Providence. What do you look at this matchup, Providence, UMD? What can you tell us about Providence?
Well coached. And they got some. I mean, they got some kids on this Wilkins kid that got 19 goals. They're going to have to watch out for him. That's a lot of goals. And I mean, they got a freshman that's Jack Duncan that is playing real good. I mean, they got some good players. And like I said, this is coming. It's going to come down to goaltending. And all these goaltenders are playing great right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close, I think. I think like UMD's been doing for the last 3 years. It's 1-goal games, it seems like all the time.
Now, is Hunter Shepard, is he a nominee for goaltender of the year, or is he?
Yeah, he's for that Mike Richard Award, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's up for that.
Yeah.
He's a finalist.
Okay.
He made the final list.
Yeah. And
So
that'll be awarded after the tournament?
That's Friday night in between with the Hobie Baker
Nice.
and all that.
Okay.
So
All right.
that night.
Yeah. So you might as well give the Hobie Baker to this Cal dude. Everyone on during the broadcast I watched.
Massachusetts.
It's like
They're talking about him, and as soon as this tournament's over, he's flying out to Colorado. They have his rights. He was a first rounder in 2017 for Colorado.
First round pick.
Yeah, and they think they can use him right now.
Well,
He's the highest scorer on the team, and he's a defenseman.
Yeah. The Wild signed a Clarkson University player, entry-level contract. Didn't get the name, but
Yeah, I didn't see that
okay.
yet.
All right. Minnesota Wild 10th in the West with 3 games to play, 81 points. They are, they lost to Arizona yesterday. That was just a terrible loss. Arizona has 84 points. The Wild have 81. Arizona and Colorado would have to lose all the rest of their games, and the Wild would have to win the rest of theirs to get in. Will that happen? Well, we'll see. But the Wild are currently 36, 34-9. Hopefully they can end the season above 500, but 79 games in, 3 more to go. You know, I got to tell you, they can go out to Las Vegas and beat one of the best teams in the league.
Isn't that something how they do that?
And then Arizona, they're not a terrible team, Arizona. They play in a tough conference.
They've been playing a lot better, and Darcy Kemper, I think, is the reason. He shut down the Wild last night,
And they lost 4-0, but the Wild have games Tuesday. They'll host Winnipeg. Thursday, they'll host Boston. Final game of the season at Dallas on Saturday. Good luck, Wild. But it doesn't look good.
No. It almost, maybe they should lose and have a better draft pick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wild, again, 10th in the West. Top 8 teams make the playoffs. Calgary, number 1 in the West, 105 points, followed by San Jose, Winnipeg, Nashville, St. Louis, Vegas, Dallas with 89 points, and then Colorado with 85 points. Arizona with 84 points at 9th. And so we'll see. But last place, Los Angeles Kings.
Would you believe that?
67 points.
You told me that in the beginning of the year. I'll say you're nuts.
Yeah. They still have Dustin Brown.
And Anaheim, another team's way down at the bottom.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick.
Yeah.
And
but they're getting a lot of players that are getting like the Wild. They're becoming an older team, too, They have to relook at their system.
Marian Gaborik still playing with them?
I don't know.
I don't either. In the East, Tampa Bay is the number 1 team in the league, actually. But in the East, number 1, Tampa Bay, 122 points, 59 games, or 59 wins. Second in the East, Boston with 103. Washington third with 102. New York Islanders with 99. And then Toronto, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Carolina with 93 points is in 8th place, but Montreal 9th with 92.
It's going to come down to these three teams.
And Columbus with 94. So
Columbus, Carolina, and Montreal are going to be fighting for the last two spots there.
Sure.
So that's a big rivalry in those three right now.
I was watching the Boston-Detroit game. Boston, I think, had a 3-1 lead and lost to Detroit. I want to say 6-3. But saw Charlie Coyle wearing number 13.
He's 13 now. Put a 1 on him.
What was it?
3 before.
With the Wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But Carson Coleman, has he been sent down?
I think he has.
Okay.
They gotta play him someplace, you know. You don't develop by watching and playing fourth line. Don't get too many shifts or don't dress. You're there, but you don't dress even, you know. So, but hey, he's there. The opportunity is going to be coming for him, and it's going to be good. How about the young man Ovechkin? 50 goals.
He will be the scoring leader in the NHL for the 8th consecutive season. Wayne Gretzky did it 9 times.
I wonder who's the oldest person in the National Hockey League that scored 50 goals. Ovechkin has to be I'm close to it, I think.
Mike Bossy, Brett Hall.
I gotta find that out. That'd be a
Gordy?
good thing to know. Maybe,
Wayne.
I don't think Gordy got 50 in his later years.
So I'm just throwing names out there. You know, Ovechkin, when you look at his numbers and you look at his age, he does have a shot at surpassing Wayne Gretzky in goals.
Really?
Well, he's 33 years old.
Yep.
And I don't recall, I think he's 250 goals away from Gretzky, but he scores 50 goals a season. He's got 5 years to do it.
It's funny, Gretzky was really an assist player, but he's got the most.
You know, there's...
That guy's amazing.
Ovechkin is... It's hard not to like that guy. I love his enthusiasm, and he got a Stanley Cup finally last year, and yeah.
I like it when the Wild play these teams, and there's Minnesota players on the team they're playing. And it seems like the Minnesota kids always pick it up when they play the Wild.
We had Goligoski against Arizona the other night.
Archibald scored 2 goals last night.
Yeah.
He's a Brainerd kid. His dad played for North Dakota and coached at Brainerd when he played there.
Yeah.
In Omaha. He played with Genzo and Randolph.
Oh, nice.
Out in Omaha,
okay. Yeah.
So, and then I just remember Brock Nelson when the Islanders in town. He got the winning goal.
Sure did.
I mean, these Minnesota kids are killing us.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at, Niskanen in Washington, of course, but Pittsburgh, Genzel, and who are the other Minnesota kids? Matt Cullen.
Well, I was talking to Mike Genzel, Jake Genzel's dad, and he scouts for Arizona right now. And
boy, that's an odd situation.
Yeah, I was talking about, boy, your kid, is he going to get 40 goals? And then he just came back with a comment and says, well, how about those small kids? He says, yeah, I always said, why does the National Hockey League, these teams, pick up these super skilled small kids? You know?
Patrick
They
Kane.
should. I mean, come on. Let's make the league more fun, too. Because these kids they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Johnny Goodrow, Calgary.
How about the player for Detroit yesterday, Mantha? I can't remember his first name. Is he related to Mole Mantha?
I don't know.
But he got his first career hat trick. There was another player, his name escapes me, he got his first NHL goal. And Mantha had a 5-point night.
Wow.
And they beat Boston, but Detroit certainly is out of the playoffs.
But looking at these teams, who do you like? Who do you think will be in the finals for the Western?
I tell you, this Calgary team, San Jose, I think it's going to be one of those two. Who might be some surprises? Maybe St. Louis, maybe Vegas again. But Calgary's playing at a very high level. And San Jose, they still have Joe Thornton and Burns and that cast out there.
I think the Eastern is going to be a tough one.
Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay, Boston, Washington, New York, Toronto, Pittsburgh, the top 6.
But Tampa Bay, they just ran away with this season, but can they keep it going in the playoffs when you need it now?
Well, we'll see. They're going to have home ice advantage.
Right.
Boston always brings grit and toughness. And Washington, defending champs, they know how to win.
Toronto has a lot of the young kids.
Yeah.
Hey, and the Islanders, they've been playing pretty good hockey this year.
99 points. They'd be second place in the West.
Yeah. Why?
And they're fourth in the East.
I had, when the season started, I said Tampa Bay and San Jose for the Stanley Cup at the end.
Oh, there you go.
So that was a pretty, simple. You know they're going to make the Stanley Cup playoffs.
The last time Tampa Bay played in the Stanley Cup, they played Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got Calgary and Tampa Bay, number one in the East and West. So,
that could be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jerome McGinley was on that Calgary team then. It went to 7 games. That was around the time there was a strike. I don't remember if that was just before the strike or after the strike season. I don't recall. But
right. So the Wild have to win the next 3 games. And the other teams, Arizona and Colorado, have to lose the rest of their games.
All their games.
Well, I think they can get tie, and then, Colorado can still get one more point.
Well, look at who the Wild have lost to. They've lost. I don't think they've beaten Colorado this year, with maybe the exception of the first game of the season they lost at Colorado, and then they did beat them that month as well. But they haven't beat Colorado enough this season. And Dallas, I don't think, have they beat Dallas this year? Maybe once. So that's where they're at.
And Dallas just has to win 1 game in their next 4, and they clinch. That puts the Wild out. Arizona is 1 point behind them right now, but Colorado has an extra game in hand. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like Colorado to be I think it's going to make the last playoff spot.
Well, they've got a young, exciting team, and
they got some nice draft picks coming in.
Do they?
Yes. So they're on their way up again.
Boy, how about Vegas, though? Vegas, 91 points, 6th in the West, still playing at a high level. Last season, they could have easily won that Stanley Cup. I'm glad they didn't. But Gerard Gallant, he's coming out of the chute. He'll be talked about as one of the winningest coaches of all time.
Really?
Well, he's been handed a team that, back-to-back seasons where they're going to win 40-plus games, obviously. And
I never understood. He was coaching down there before he went to Vegas, down in Florida. And they fired him. And he was everyone was saying he was doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
And ever since he left, Florida hasn't done anything.
Tough player when he played.
Yeah. But Vegas, I was talking to a scout a few weeks back, and they're in good shape. They got their farm system, their prospects.
Yeah.
They got a lot of prospects. They got a lot of room to trade.
Yeah, they got some of those prospects from Minnesota.
And they got, I know, he said they got 3 first-round draft picks this year.
Vegas?
Yes. And they
Plus, does Seattle draft this season?
No, next year.
Next year.
2, then they got at least 2 seconds.
Vegas has 3 first-round picks.
They got 5 in the first 2 rounds.
Dang.
So in other words, think of the idea of the GM there.
Yeah.
Make trades or just if you're missing one player, they think.
Yeah.
What they can do with all that.
Yeah.
That's amazing how they were handed, like you said.
Well, that's why I'm not a fan of Vegas.
I'm not a fan of the NHL, the way they handle expansion now.
Exactly. They set these teams up to win. I mean, first year in the league, they're in the Stanley Cup. Wow. Oh, I know it's Vegas and all that comes with Las Vegas.
Yep. What was I going to say?
So Seattle will be involved in next season's draft, not this season. Okay.
Right.
And the draft is April or June. Late June.
Forget where the draft is this year. That's right. But let's go back to the college and the Frozen Four. I'm just going to go over the goalies that will probably start because two of the teams have goalies, two goalies. So if one got hurt, they're in the top 16. Denver and UMass have goalies that are that good.
Yeah.
But here's UMass has the number one goalie in college hockey. And he's only played 15 games, but his save percentage is .939, and goals average is 1.42. So you're not going to score too much off this kid, it looks like. But Hunter Shepard's number 6 in the country. I hope, oh man, he's been playing great for 3 years, hasn't he?
He sure has.
I think if you want to say a most valuable player for UMD, especially this year,
Yeah.
Hunter Shepard is the one. He's been consistent.
Yeah.
He just does it.
Yeah.
I like him.
And he was there last year, and he made a comment that they want to do this again. They want to win this thing again. And he came into this program behind Hunter Miska,
Right.
and Kaskasuo.
Well, isn't Miska with the Arizona?
He was with the organization.
Yeah, I think he's in the American Hockey League playing for them. So, but he's .920 with a 1.82. But he plays in he plays in the best league in the college hockey.
Yeah.
And you got to give him credit. To me, that might be number one.
Yeah. Well, we've got just a couple of moments here to wrap up this episode of the Minnesota Hockey Connection. The Minnesota Wild doesn't look good, but the UMD Bulldogs looks very good. And we'll be back here after next week.
Yeah, I'll take a week off because I'm going to travel out to Buffalo, and hey, we'll have a lot of good stories.
Well, let's hope the Bulldogs can win another championship, repeat. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And we want to thank the staff at PACT-TV, where this program is produced in City Hall in downtown Duluth. Go to our website, MinnesotaHockeyConnection.com. A lot of content there, and our Facebook page. Find us on Facebook and like us there, and our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel as well. All of our episodes get loaded there. So, Jerry, we'll be back here not next week, but the following week, hopefully talking about a Bulldog championship.
Yeah. So go NCHC conference and go Bulldogs.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.